Well, the White House is set to issue new mandates to fight COVID-19, and we're told the president will announce a six-pronged approach tomorrow. The Associated Press is reporting it's going to include mandates for schools and private businesses. So far, President Joe Biden has encouraged businesses to require vaccines for workers. Right now, businesses may require proof of vaccination at restaurants, bars, and venues. The White House press secretary talked about what will be unveiled.
We know that increasing vaccinations will stop the spread of the pandemic, will get the pandemic under control, will return people to normal life. That's what our objective is. So we want to be specific about what we're trying to achieve. But I would just note that what you're going to hear from the president tomorrow is going to build on some of the steps that the president announced over the course of the last few months.
We'll have more on those mandates coming up tonight at 5:30. Now, the mandates are coming as cases are rising across the state of Indiana. More than 2,900 Hoosiers tested positive. 86 more Hoosiers died. Since March of 2020, almost 890,000 people across the state have tested positive. Hospitalizations are also on the rise. Right now, there are more than 2,500 Hoosiers in state hospitals fighting COVID-19. That's about 2,000 more people than were in the hospital just 7 weeks ago.
And the rise in cases is especially concerning for our children who right now don't qualify to be vaccinated. Our children represent more than a quarter, or about 26% of all weekly cases nationwide. In fact, more than 251,000 cases of COVID reported in the last week were in children. There were 939,000 cases total in the U.S. that week. But despite these frightening numbers, it still appears that severe illness because of COVID is relatively uncommon among children. So far, more than 5 million children have tested positive since the start of the pandemic back in March of 2020. And that represents about 15% of all the cases here in this country. And the fear is that the holidays could make it worse.
We are having to prepare ourselves for having yet again another surge after the Labor Day holiday.
Another problem, an estimated quarter of schools don't even have a school nurse. The CDC does recommend that schools have one full-time nurse for every 750 students that they have enrolled.